All right, who's ready to get rolling here? We will begin with this wild situation. This is live radar showing you heavy snow now falling in the Smoky Mountains of eastern Tennessee. This is about as heavy of a snow band as you'll see, just north of Gatlinburg up towards Pigeon Forge. It's snowing to beat the band now at places like Dollywood and the Pancake Pantry and Wiley Oakley Road, and all those places that you know if you've ever vacationed up in this part of the world. This is going to be a pretty big deal. Hi, I'm Josh Johnson. This is our First Alert Weather Extra for 9:30. We're a few minutes late getting it all wound up here, but I'm thankful to have you with us tonight as we talk all things weather. And boy, do we have a lot to discuss. We have an ongoing winter storm across parts of Georgia, Tennessee, into the Carolinas. For us here in Alabama, the snow is not the big deal. We'll get a little, but not much. The big screaming message is the cold and the wind, and you are going to feel the chill in a mighty way as we go through the weekend. We're talking afternoon temperatures tomorrow south of 30 degrees in most spots. Most of you do not get to 30 tomorrow. I'm talking highs of 27, 28, 29. For the lucky ones, 30 or 31. Either way, it's 24 hours plus below freezing, which is definitely in that pipe bursting weather sort of realm there. Let me show you what's happening up in the Smoky Mountains right now. This is a live look into Pigeon Forge. Check it out. We'll make it full screen here. Yeah, how about that? This is already there's already a thick blanket of snow on the ground there, and there's a lot more where that came from, guys. Pigeon Forge. By the time this thing is done, I think Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, the Smoky Mountain tourist towns there. I think a lot of these places are going to end up with 8, 9, 10, 12 inches of snow. This is a classic winter storm for the Smoky Mountains. As you see here, again, this is in Pigeon Forge. This is from our sister gray station, WVLT TV. Here you have Ober Gatlinburg. We'll refresh that one. I think that one timed out, but you can see there. That's up on the mountain. That's if you've ever been to Gatlinburg, that is up at the top at the ski resort, and you can see the road. The parking lot's covered. Everything's covered. That looks like already an inch or two of snow. And this thing's just getting started up there. So this is going to be a big, big deal for them. What about us here at home? Well, quite frankly, the bigger concern for us is not snow. So this is the high-res rapid refresh. I'll take this full so you can sort of see it a little better. So you got new run in, and quite frankly, the snow doesn't look quite as promising in this run. The little band that was forecast to come down through our area kind of chickens out a little bit, loses its nerve as it comes in. That's probably the right idea, by the way. This is not going to be a big snow event for us. It will be right over into Georgia, but for us, you see the same thing I see here when we toggle back and forth through the day tomorrow. There's just not a lot of moisture in the air. There is plenty of cold air, but just not a lot of moisture in the mix here. Speaking of that cold air, I'll show you that now. Check this out. These are the actual air temperatures. Tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon, the HER gets us up to 32 at Montgomery, but look out west there, 31, upper 20s, kind of in some of the northern counties. And you'll spend most of the day in the upper 20s. So the cool down is rapid here, by the way. Right now, most of us are still in the 40s, but we will not be longer. We'll go below freezing at Montgomery around 1 in the morning, and then it just keeps plunging from there, this Arctic air, and temperatures will do well to make 32 degrees tomorrow. And then watch this. We'll go back to the 0Z run here. And the 0Z run, the every 6-hour runs, those go out farther in time. So you can see a little deeper into the future here. But same sort of thing, upper 20s and low 30s for afternoon highs tomorrow. It's a brutally cold day. And then look at this is the air temperature. When you wake up Sunday morning, we're in the teens. Temperatures are below zero as far south as western Tennessee, maybe even northern Mississippi there, right around zero, around Memphis, South Haven, Mississippi, Tunica, Mississippi, places like that. I mean, this is just going to be just a monster in terms of the cold that's coming in with this thing. So we'll put the socials up at the bottom of the screen there. If you have questions, and you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, please fire away. I'd love to hear from you. I can actually see the comments right here. So we can kind of follow along and check in with that. Now, back to our snow prospects. So they're not zero, right? I do think they're fairly limited. And that's been the forecast all along. A 20% chance of some light snow showers. I still think there will probably be a narrow strip or two where you get a little burst of snow, perhaps enough to give to give the ground kind of that frosty look, right? You know what I'm talking about when you get the little clumps of snow that sit up on the grass. It's not really covering it; it's just sort of there. That's the flavor to this. This is not if you have it in your mind, this image that you're going to be in the backyard building snowmen and sledding. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Look, I want that more than you do, but this is just not that kind of thing. So the bigger story is the wind and the cold. Let's look at that. Some of these wind speeds are crazy tomorrow, guys. Like legit cray cray. 20, 25, 35 mile per hour winds tomorrow. I fully anticipate some isolated power outages tomorrow as a result of the strong wind around here. Let me do this before we get off the snow wagon. Let's also, just for fun, we're getting some of the 0Z models in now. And we'll go out. This will be the RRFS. So there's two main short-range, high-resolution convection allowing models that we look at in this time frame: the HER, the high-res rapid refresh, and the Rufus, the RRFS. But similar models. RRFS is experimental. It's the pending upgrade to some of the other short-range modeling. So, but it does a pretty good job. It still has that little streak of snow coming down through, essentially along I-65. If you look carefully there, you can see it through Tuscaloosa, parts of Bibb County, and then streaking down. We're going streaking down into Lowndes, Crenshaw. Now, look, this is not gospel. This is one computer's idea of what may happen, right? So you don't just take this with a grain of salt. Take it with a whole salt shaker. Outstanding question in the comments here. I just saw a good question. Should you still drip all day if you're home and using water on and off throughout the day? No, not really. I'm going to drip starting tomorrow morning because we're leaving. We're actually taking a trip up to Huntsville, not for the snow, it's for something different, but we'll be on the road most of the day. And, I'm not going to risk it. We've had our pipes freeze before. Thankfully, they didn't burst, but it is not fun sitting there waiting, wondering what's going to happen. So we'll be out of the house. If you're at your home all day, I wouldn't drip all day as long as you're using the water pretty regularly. Now, the exception to that would be, does your home have a history of frozen pipes? Do you have a side of your house where maybe like where we have problems, we have a restroom, a guest restroom on the north side of our house on an exterior wall. So it gets no sun during the day and it's on an exterior wall, right? So that's tricky. That's a tough scenario. If you have something like that, you might want to just drip that one all day. But otherwise, if you're at home and you're running the dishwasher and you're running the sink and if you have a kind of a normal home scenario, I wouldn't drip them all day. I would wait until you go to bed and then drip them, right? You can also set your dishwasher and washing machine to run cycles later in the night if you have the programmable, high-tech, fancy versions of those. So, outstanding questions. What about black ice issues in Greenville? I don't see it. No. Wherever that little narrow snow shower streak goes, that's where you could have one or two slick spots. And I literally mean one or two. 99% of our roads around here, they're going to be dry. 80% of you aren't going to see a single flake of snow. Of the 20% that see snow, 19% of you are just going to see a few flakes flying in the air, nothing else. I'm literally talking, there's about a 1 in 100 shot that you end up seeing some snow that falls and you get a slick spot or two. It's really low odds, guys. Really, really low odds. So no, I don't imagine that'll happen, Casey. Good question, though. A couple of questions about Montgomery and Prattville. Look, here's the tricky part of this is the honest answer is we don't know exactly where that band will set up. I can show you computer models till I'm blue in the face, and one model will have it in Tuscaloosa, and the other one will have it at Mount Cheehan, and the other one will have it in Montgomery. I don't know, and neither do those computers. We'll know tomorrow morning when we see how many snow bands form up in North Alabama, because that's what will happen here. They'll form in North Alabama and then die from northwest to southeast. Now, all that said, the overall synoptic pattern is such that I think the better snow chances are in east and northeast Alabama. The models have been very insistent on this idea of this little band of snow that comes down through Birmingham down towards Montgomery. I don't know. With the track of the 500 millibar low, with the maximum, what's called PVA, positive vorticity advection, That is maximized over northeast Alabama. So, in my opinion, I really think the accumulating snow stays in places like Mount Cheaha and Lookout Mountain, Sand Mountain, and Mentone, and Fort Payne, and Valley Head, and Gadsden, and Duggar Mountain near Piedmont, and places like that. Anywhere over 1,500 feet, say along and east of 431 north of I-20. So White Plains, Piedmont, Center, Hoax Bluff, Spring Garden, Mentone, Valley Head, Skyline, Scottsboro, places like that, is where I think you could end up with 1 inch, 2 inches of snow in Alabama. Now, there will be some huge amounts up in the Smokies and then over into North Carolina, too. Let me show you this. This is the National Weather Service. Look at this. They've got the winter storm warning now that covers the entire states of South Carolina and North Carolina. That's rare to have that thing kind of happen. So, any snow in Troy? The answer is probably not. Whatever city name you're going to say in the southern half of Alabama, the answer is statistically probably not. You got a shot, right? There's a 20% chance of snow tomorrow, which the normal winter day in Alabama, the chance of snow is well under 1%. It's a fraction of a fraction. So a 20% chance is nothing to sneeze at. But the real huge impact here is not snow. I know that's why a lot of you are watching this video. I know that's what a lot of you are dialed in for. The real deal is the cold. Amanda says, looks like I'll be saying maybe we will see snow next winter for Prattville yet again this year. Well, Amanda, let's talk about that because there is really good long-range data to suggest. So think about this. In the last 2 weeks, it snowed 2 inches in Dale County, Alabama, near Ozark, near Dothan. Then we had a giant ice storm that made it all the way down into Louisiana, Mississippi, northwest Alabama. Now, number 2, we've got winter storm warnings as close to us as Atlanta. So we've had 3 close calls. None of them have happened, but we've had 3 close calls for snow here in the southern half of Alabama. The pattern into early to mid-February, say February the 5th through the 20th, will flip back to what it is right now, where we will have more. I think this is not your last shot at snow for the winter in Prattville, in my opinion. I think mid-February probably has some promise in that regard. Now, look, all I can tell you at this range is, does the pattern support it? The pattern has supported it for the last 3 weeks. That's why we've had 3 winter storms in the southeast. We just haven't happened to have them where you live. And in fact, I mean, if you add all of them, if you kind of average them all together, I think by the end of this, the only place that's going to have not had any snow or ice is going to be the central part of Alabama, because North Alabama had ice in the ice storm this weekend. Far southeast Alabama and South Georgia had snow a couple of weeks ago. And then central Georgia up through the Carolinas gets pounded with snow tomorrow. So I'll make a map. That's what I'll do eventually. When we have the amounts in from this next one, I'll make a map and show you guys what I'm talking about. It may just annoy you, though, quite honestly, because I suspect that by the end of this next one, the only place in the southeastern part of the country, other than deep South Florida, that didn't get snow or ice is going to be kind of parts of southeast Mississippi and parts of southwest and central Alabama. It'll be a pretty narrow sliver of the world, and on up into central Alabama. So, yeah, but look, keep faith would be my statement there. I don't think this is your last shot of seeing some snow or ice. The pattern we're in is really, it reloads, I think, early to mid-February. I'm worried about if I'm going to freeze into a block before or after lunch having to work outside tomorrow. Shane, it will be cold. Basically, if you got it, wear it, right? Like warm socks, multiple layers, your nose, your ears. Get some of those hand warmers. I like to get those hand warmers when I'm out in the really, really cold stuff. I like to get those hand warmers and put them in my pockets. Helps keep your core warm, especially if you have coat pockets. The military will teach you if you can keep your kidneys warm. A lot of your blood and your fluids rotate through your kidneys. If you warm your kidneys up, you can warm the rest of your body up pretty effectively. And of course, heat loss through the head, that's always a thing. So cover your head, try to get your core warm, and then the ears, the fingers, the toes as well. Snow in Opelika, there's a chance. It's small. Janelle said she's going to bed. Good night, Josh Johnson. Well, good night, Janelle. Hope you sleep well. I'm waiting patiently for at least 12 inches of snow, waiting for our time, LOL. Then now, if that's the request, you may be waiting for a long time. So, all right. So, big stories. The temperature. Um, there is a chance of some snow showers and flurries in the morning. I'll do some more live updates here on social media tomorrow. Um, as this whole thing rolls in. So check back on Facebook. It's Josh Johnson WSFA. On YouTube, by the way, YouTube, I put a lot of content on YouTube. Just search Josh Johnson Weather on YouTube and do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell thing. That way you'll get notifications. I don't spam my YouTube. I only post interesting things, weather related things, and an occasional funny. I promise I'm not going to spam you to death, but subscribe and turn on those notifications on YouTube. Again, the channel is Josh Johnson Weather on YouTube. It's Josh Johnson WSFA on Facebook. So there you go. What is the time that the winds will get real high? Tonight or during the day tomorrow? It'll be tomorrow morning, 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. A lot of you will wake up to the sound of loud wind tonight, late tonight after midnight. All right, we're going to wind this thing down. We've got WSFA 12 News at 10 starting in just about 6 minutes. I hope you'll join us. We've got all the day's news, weather, and sports with award-winning anchors Mark Bullitt and Valerie. They're over there right now studiously preparing for this newscast. You can stream it, by the way. Wherever you get apps, just search WSFA and you can stream there and see what all we've got going on that newscast tonight. So I would invite you to do that. Watch my YouTube and Facebook channels tomorrow morning. I'll post updates as the sun comes up and we get a look at radar. That'll be critical, right? This is not going to form over our area. This is going to form, the snow chance will form over North Alabama and then move south. So we will get some indication early in the morning as to how that's going. So I'll have that